Angela, where are you, Angela?
Yo, what's shaking, RB? Not
It's
sure.
so funny because you always say Robert, and I'm like, yo, what's shaking, AC? But you like say it like you're trying to get my attention, and that's how I'm getting your attention, is just calling out for you.
Anyway, okay. All right, part 3, retaining A players.
Okay.
We're going to talk about incentive programs. And I really like this one because I think that if people perform, they should be incentivized.
I think a lot of people like incentive programs because that just means something in their pocket, right?
Yeah. The whole idea here is to look for opportunities to incentivize your employees to perform. So figuring out like what is it that, now one of the things actually first and foremost you might want to do is find out what the employee is motivated by. What do they actually want? Because there are people out there that are more motivated by time off than a few extra bucks on their paycheck.
Yeah, or food. Food's a great motivator.
Food's a big
I love
motivator.
free
Yeah,
food. Mm-hmm.
yeah. So it could be a financial incentive. It could be time off. It could be like a more vacation time. It could be food. It could be an event. Some employees would love an opportunity, tickets, or it could be the whole team goes out for dinner or drinks or to a
courtside seat to see the Raptors Collective Soul concert. I've received all of those as an incentive.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about examples of incentive programs. So if people haven't ever done this before, maybe they've never done an incentive program. Let's talk about ways that you can do it. So, do you have examples?
Well, sure, but yes, I do.
But I want to say something else first.
Yeah, I think the first type of incentive program that people usually defer to right away are financial incentive programs, right? Things that are like commissions, bonuses, stuff like that, which is fantastic because a lot of people are driven by money or a lot of people require more money. But there is a danger there because if you have somebody that's too driven by money or too focused on the incentive and they change the culture that you're conveying to the customer, like they make it a high pressure sales environment that the customer no longer wants to come in because they're more concerned about their incentive than making sure that
I think we've all been there when you walk into like a clothing store.
Oh, just looking.
Yeah.
Just looking.
Well, then you walk into.
Wife won't let me buy it.
Yeah. But yeah, you walk into like a clothing store and they're following you around and they're like, that would look really good on you, or that's really nice. And I'm like, you're just trying to make a sale.
Yep, I know.
Yeah.
I know. All this would look good on me.
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good, thanks. And then you put it on and they're like, you look really good in that. And you're like, no, I know I don't. This is not the right fit for me. Yeah. So that's a great point. Any suggestions on how to get around that? Like, how can you deal with that if people?
I mean, there's a lot. I mean, the first one that comes to my head, and this is sort of like out in the left field, is to not let them know that exists. Let them sell because they actually want to treat the customer well. And then at the end of the year, say, here's your year-end bonus. And it's not just we're giving everyone $1,000 or everyone $10,000, but you specifically have done exceptionally well. And so this reflects that. That way they're not thinking, okay, I get a 3% commission, so if I could just sell an extra speaker or something, then I know I'll be able to go buy that Christmas gift that I need to buy,
Yeah, not sure if I agree, which is okay. Fine, right? Because what we did at our stores worked really well, and I just think it takes a lot of like training and coaching. I think you can get away or get beyond that by coaching, or get around it is what I was trying to say.
Yep.
If you coach them to understand, and if they're more effective, if you can coach them to more effectively do suggestive selling or whatever that is, and help them understand that you can actually do it really well.
Okay.
And I'll give you an example. I think this might help just our ginormous audience here sitting in front of us.
Huge.
So at my family business, retail frozen food, okay, and chain that we grew to almost 500 locations, well known in all of Canada, and people would come in and they wanted our boneless chicken breast because that was our biggest selling product. Everybody.
That is the best thing. Who
They're
doesn't
really
like boneless chicken breast? That's where you get chicken nuggets, chicken tenders, chicken fingers,
chicken
sandwiches.
Now you're going to start getting hungry. So we would sell a lot of those, and people would come in just for that. And if we just let them just buy that, it was on sale. We didn't really make much money if it was on sale, so our margins would go down. And so we taught people to try to break the ice with the customer and say things like, how's your day going? And I see you're wearing a Raptors hat or something. Did you see the game? And try to break the ice a little bit. and then learn about their needs, right? Like learn about I noticed you have 2 young kids here. Have you heard we sell things like chicken nuggets here? We sell mini pizzas. Kids love those for after school snacks. And by learning their needs, then you can suggest more ideas. And now this is where an incentive program comes in. If we didn't incentivize them, it didn't really matter to the staff whether they did a good job or not. But if we said, if you can get our average sale per customer to a certain amount, which was around $30. So say the average sale per customer without incentivizing them was $29.50.
Yep.
We might say, okay, at the end of the week, if our average sale per customer might have been a daily thing that we could do, if it's over $30, between $30 and $31, we're going to give you an extra 25 cents per hour that you worked. If it's over this amount, we're going to go extra 50 cents per hour. But then again, we would coach them on how to do that. And I mean, customers can tell right away if they're doing it in the wrong method
or fashion, yeah. But
so,
okay, so what would you do then for non-financial incentives?
You could still have like a targeted goal. It could be like I said, average sale per customer, or that you're trying to get a certain number of people to go from a trial class to a membership or whatever that is. You could still have a quantitative goal, but the incentive is you get a half day off every time you get 5 people to become members.
Okay, so days off. That's something you can get. That's not financial. I mean, not directly.
Yeah,
right?
Well, actually, one thing we used to do is we would work their shift for them.
Oh, cool.
Like they would have a shift and we'd say, if you get to this, we'll take your shift and you don't have to work it.
Yeah, and then you're calling them. You're like, Jim, the freezer won't turn on.
Yeah.
I'm freaking out. What do I do?
How do I do this like refund on the debit machine or whatever? Yeah, that actually happened to me a lot, and my staff would laugh because when I started going back into the stores after having kids, it had been a while, and I was like, Lisa, how do I come over here? And
well, you just wait till all the debit machines start accepting cryptocurrency.
Oh gosh, that's another topic for another day. But yeah, those are some things we did, and so look at what I would recommend people do is look at what are some of your key metrics that drive your business. So if converting people from a trial to a membership is a thing, or if it's a retention thing, or it could be new customers, if maybe they're part of your social media, get your staff doing some social media, and you say, hey, if you get 3 new customers in the door, and you got to figure out how to track that. Then that is one of the challenges. You've got to figure out how to trace and track these things, but there's ways to do it. Another thing I want to throw in here is that what we found is, for the most part, it was better to kind of treat them as a team. So we could see from our POS system, our point of sale system, who was selling what, and we could say, okay, like Julie, your average sale per customer is higher than Tanya, but we tried to do it more as a team, so that people were working together. And they've kind of self-monitored that. If their teammate wasn't pulling their weight, they had ways of kind of talking about it.
Okay, so this actually made me think of something. So what if you, as a franchisee, you have a store and your staff basically, like, that's it. Like there's nowhere that they can move up. Their frontline staff, the next step would be to be you, a franchisee, right? So
or a manager.
Or a manager, sure, but maybe at some point they want to move past that. But it's not within your capacity, within your franchise location, to offer incentives for growth. So maybe this is an opportunity to communicate with the franchisor and see what types of incentives are. There's probably some joint employers like lines that I'm crossing here, but that's exactly what I do, is cross lines. But there could be that opportunity to maybe open up their own franchise.
Or they can go work on the franchise company team.
Yeah,
actually, that happens a lot. Keep the dream going?
Yeah,
that happens all the time. People that work for a franchisee, when they've outgrown the job, which you don't want to keep them around if they've outgrown it anyway. You want to see them flourish. And so they can then, often they end up becoming field people. Franchise business coach or whatever. So I think that's another thing to incentivize people, is incentivize them for a growth path. When you work here, where do you want to get to? What matters to you? Okay, you want growth opportunities. What can I do to get you there? And then create incentives that work within that.
I dig it.
Okay, so what's your key takeaway?
Actually, as a franchisor, my key takeaway is I would love my franchisees team to know that there's an opportunity to become part of the franchise business. I think that's important.
There you go. Okay, ready to wrap this up? Okay, 3, 2, 1, go be awesome.